Brilliant team. Dire team.
Hello everybody, my name is CulBlu, and I'm bringing you guys the second game here in the JDL series that I'm casting for today, which is LonelyBoyz vs TheBusinessGaming.com. And you know, in retrospect, I probably should see if TheBusinessGaming.com actually brings up. I feel like it's not going to bring anything safe for work, but I'm not judging. I'm just, you know, I'm just strongly suggesting that they can do something else. But I don't know. I have never been to that site. Not that I've been there before. Of course I have. Anyway, all that aside, my internet browsing history aside, let's go and delete that right now. We got ourselves a game coming up. This is game number 2 in the LonelyBoyz vs TheBusinessGaming.com. And if you guys haven't seen the last game, you got like a little bit of time to go check it out. Unless you're watching it live, then you don't. You're kind of stuck with it, so deal with it. But if you haven't watched it already, feel free to go back and take a look at it. The VODs will be posted, so go watch it. You have a little bit of time. Time's up. LonelyBoyz did end up dropping that game. TBG put on a very, very strong display. I wasn't really planning on their lineup to work as well as it did, but OD and Death Prophet, for some reason, those two being on the same team just equal to automatic GG. They did have a lot of struggles with their game, but they did do really well with it. So that's why we see LonelyBoyz respect banning the OD, make sure that he's out of the game. I think OD wasn't the biggest issue, but he was still an issue. Morphling was the biggest issue, and TBG played a fantastic Morphling. Freaking KY didn't die at all. Fantastic game. I can't talk about that Morphling enough. Like I wasn't a believer that he wasn't gonna die. Actually, no, he died once. I lied. He died once. So report KY for feed, please. Please report KY for feed. Moving on to the rest of the game, though, we got LonelyBoyz ban out the OD, ban out the Enchantress, and we also see the same bans from TBG. They ban out the Wisp and the Lone Druid. So they're pretty solid about we don't want these craps in this game, so they want to have those heroes. Instead, TBG do pick up the Invoker plus a Death Prophet, which is interesting that they got the Death Prophet back, which I think Death Prophet was the biggest factor in the last game, as far as helping the team win the fights and helping the team win those engagements. But the Invoker will be picked up for TBG. And as a result of that, I don't know if they're going to do the same lineup they did last time. Have the Invoker play mid, have Death Prophet go ahead and play in the off lane. I'm still not sure how I feel about Death Prophet off lane, but freaking Quilly played it well, so I guess you know, in Quilly we trust. That's kind of what we're saying right now. But all said and done, Death Prophet plus Invoker, they're still flexible. They can play in mid lane plus off lane, I guess, now for Death Prophet, and Invoker can play mid lane, off lane, or safe lane. Off lane's a little bit harder, but mid lane or safe lane, so they still have some flexibility. Meanwhile, LonelyBoyz, they did pick up the Faceless Void, and they pick up the Witch Doctor, which is a combination made in heaven. It's like peanut butter and marshmallows, which that sounds really gross. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. Like, I freaking hate peanut butter. I mean, okay, I'm okay with peanut butter, but it's like gross. It's like ugh, it's gross. It's just like, who thought it was a good idea to like crush peanuts and put it into a jar? Like, come on. Anyway, all that aside, my taste aside, which is funny because it's literally my taste, you know, food. Yeah, see what I did there? Yeah, I did too. I thought it was funny. Hey, screw you. But speaking of my taste aside, Witch Doctor plus Faceless Void can do quite a bit. He knew quite a bit when his team fights break out. Faceless Void drops a Chrono, Witch Doctor drops his ult, and it's a good time. People are stunned, Witch Doctor gets to hit everybody, and he can do a lot. I've actually seen a few games won solely off of a Faceless Void off lane, who had a Blink Dagger. I want to strongly suggest that Blink Dagger is a really good item on Faceless Void. I really don't know why people don't go for it. There are people of the class who believe that Faceless Void with a Vanguard is way better, but I still think Faceless Void Blink Dagger is really nice for initiations if you have the right ranged-based team to line it up or to back them up. But speaking of range-based things, Witch Doctor is going to be really nice inside of that. Not really all that useful when the team fights do actually break out, and Witch Doctor maybe doesn't have his ult yet. But if he does actually get the actually no, sorry, really useful when the team fights break out, just as long as he doesn't die. Witch Doctor really flimsy of a hero, but he does have that nice sustainability in those team fights. And I've actually seen a few teams go for a push lineup where they had a Witch Doctor involved, like a Witch Doctor Juggernaut, plus whoever else heals people really well. Witch Doctor Juggernaut plus somebody else, and they did things, and it was pretty amazing. It was like a long time ago. Games are blending together. But Witch Doctor heal definitely helps out with the push. And also Malediction, if you can pair Witch Doctor with another support who can do some nuke damage, like maybe a Lena, maybe even a Visage, if you want to go that far, you can actually get quite a bit of free kill. You can get quite a few free kills because of the Malediction. So, yeah, Witch Doctor relatively all-around support. Not as all-around as something like a Vengeful Spirit, which actually has been ignored so far. So, we'll see if she gets picked up. Moving on to the bans, though. TBG, they do ban out the Zeus. They also banned out the Ursa Warrior. So LonelyBoyz obviously have a pocket Ursa. We're not going to see none of those shenanigans in this game though. And LonelyBoyz actually banned out the Oracle on their side, and also the Morphling. Respect ban for Morphling, respect ban for OD. So those two make sense if you guys watched the last game. If you haven't, definitely go check out the last game. It was actually pretty fun to watch. But Oracle, one of the supports who can actually do really well versus offlaners like Darkseer, actually specifically Darkseer, he does really well because he can purge off a whole bunch of things. So I'm really hoping that LonelyBoyz want to stick with the purple strat and pick up a Darkseer, because if they do, I will be very happy. Especially their whole entire team is purple, like, you know, Darkseer, Bane, Faceless Void, Witch Doctor, and Anti-Mage, who's kind of purple. He's mostly purple. Mostly purple. I don't think he's actually purple. Come on. We had such a good thing going, LonelyBoyz. They pick up the Wind Ranger, who's actually somebody who can do really well mid. She can also do okay in the offlane. Or yeah, okay in the offlane. That's usually where you see her at. Actually, no. Nowadays you see her mid. A lot of people like going for the slasher build, where you kind of have a carry Windrunner, so to speak, where she gets her farms, she gets her levels, and she suddenly just shows up and wrecks everything. And Omniknight gets picked up in the game, guys! Oh my gosh, TBG were listening to me the whole entire time. I feel vindicated. For anybody out there who was doubting me with my statement that Omniknight wins 60% of his games, we have a 60% chance that TBG will win this game. Not that I'm biased or anything, but like the odds are there. Like that's 10% higher than 50%, which is not what the other side has, is 40%, but that's not math aside, this Omniknight is gonna be really fun to watch. I've seen a lot of teams run Omniknight in offlane, and I really hate that. Like, I really think Omniknight offlane is complete trash. Don't do it. But some teams do it because they have a greedy lineup, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But flat out, if you get Omniknight some farm, if you give him some core position farm, they can get things like Octarine Core and just do so many things. And I already forgot there was a Windrunner picked up in the game because freaking Omniknight. Like, have you seen his beard? Have you seen his mullet? Look at this guy's mullet. It's like intense. It's like a helmet of mullet, and I don't even know if that's considered a mullet. I really don't know the definition of a mullet. I should Google. I don't want to Google mullets because I feel like I'm gonna see some weird things. Anyway, right, my innocence aside. Yeah, so LonelyBoyz lineup is looking pretty nice though. They do have the mid Windrunner. They do have the Faceless Void, Witch Doctor, Lich. I'm really afraid that they're basing their lineup off of a 4 protect 1 type thing, because they have the 3 so far that can do really well in the team fight. So Faceless Void can initiate with the Chronosphere. Witch Doctor and Lich drop their spells and die, who cares? And they just drop their spells and they'll be fine just as long as they get their ults off. And Windrunner will be there for the single target focus. So LonelyBoyz have more of an execution based lineup so far, whereas TBG just kind of say, hey bro, fight me. It's kind of like Death Prophet drops ult, says fight me, and Omniknight drops a few right clicks, or not right click, drops his ult and drops his heal on top of Invoker, says fight me, and Invoker he just question mark fight me. Speaking of which, Nature's Prophet would be nice for either lineup right now. I actually would like to see Nature's Prophet on TBG, but I think I'll be extremely greedy because they'll be forced to put Invoker in the safe lane, Death Prophet will be in the off lane, and Death Prophet will be in the mid, and Prophet will be in the off lane. It could work out. We'll see what happens. Anyway, going back to the bans though, because I want to speak a little bit more on Ursa and Zeus. Ursa I've seen do relatively okay. He hasn't been as OP as I initially thought he would be. Having the ulti, which for anybody who doesn't know, there was a stint where I was out of Dota before Ursa got his super amazing baller changes. So I was back in the days of Dota when Ursa used to get damage from his ult, as opposed to I reduced damage by 80%, which is pretty darn ridiculous. So I missed the whole transition from there to there. So I'm always a fan. I'm always ready to see Ursa get picked into the game. But all that's said and done though, Ursa's would have been really interesting versus lineup of TBG, because he can actually get in there and just wreck Death Prophet. Like, he doesn't give a single crap about Death Prophet's damage. He can kill it really fast. So he would have been very nice. So it's actually nice that they banned out the Ursa in that game, or in this game. And also Zeus can blow up Death Prophet too. It's a little bit harder for Zeus because, you know, he's slow and he's a god and he's trying to like do misogynistic things, but you know, all that aside, all that his misogyny aside, Zeus can definitely get in there and blow up Death Prophet. So I like the fact that they banned out those two people specifically because Death Prophet is kind of at the core of what they want to do. Moving to LonelyBoyz side, they have the ban out on top of the Oracle. They have the ban on top of the Vengeful Spirit. Weaver was picked up by TBG. I'm just expecting TBG just to split push these guys to death. Deathball meta, where they have like 4 people deathballing, and Weaver will be over there split pushing, just being annoying. It's pretty much what I've seen. That's about right. I mean, LonelyBoyz won it for the big team fight, so they're kind of prepared for the death ball. So they have a defensive death ball, like a life ball, I guess. So life ball versus death ball. I don't know who's gonna win, but it sounds pretty intense. It sounds like a really interesting game. I would totally like it if somebody had that. And they got a Clinks on their side too. So Clinks, interesting pickup. Will be there to pick out the Weaver. Will be useless at like the 35-minute mark unless he's snowballing out of control. But Clinks' snowball is kind of tiny. It's really small and bony and like very flimsy. So all is said and done though, he can get a lot of kills off the top of Omni-Knight, despite the fact that Omni-Knight has this whole repel and, you know, healing thing. Omni-Knight can get blown up pretty well by Clinks. Just drop one silence and a few right clicks and he's dead. Invoker, same concept. Death Prophet, not as susceptible, but Weaver definitely acceptable to it. And we got a Pudge as the last pickup for a TBG, so surprise, we got a Pudge player. So we'll see TBG, we'll see how the lineup goes through. This is looking like a roaming Pudge with an Omni-Knight as a support as well. So Weaver tri-lane, kinda sorta. Where Pudge will be dropping a few hooks and maybe Omni-Knight and Weaver can follow up with some kills. So a few heal bombs might be in the works for these guys, but speaking of heal bombs, Dazzle was completely ignored if I'm not mistaken, which actually is a little bit surprising. TBG have a nice mix of damage, but I mean LonelyBoyz probably could have used the Dazzle. Nah, they couldn't use Dazzle. They don't have enough. It's not enough value there for a Dazzle, I guess. So let's go ahead and do introductions. Start off on the side of LonelyBoyz, just because I don't want them to feel alone. I want them to feel like they have somebody here. Who cares? This caster called CulBlu, and also my Statsman. Shout out to you, Statsman. Dang it! See, I can't even pronounce the names. Wow, names are hard. I gotta look it up. Tantus, my Statsman Tantus. He'll be in the background tossing a few stats, tossing a few tats for you guys, because tats are cool, especially when you have tits. If you have tits and tats, oh wow, that came out really wrong, and I regret saying that. Alright, moving on from all the shenanigans. Introduction, start off on Windrunner, because Bacon is beast right now. Bacon is beast, is playing that Windrunner. Moving to the Lich all the way on the other side, we have Heroin Mark. Wow, that is kind of depressing. We have Heroin Mark playing that Lich. Faces Void is being controlled by the one and only Ricky Grimes. That's right guys, Grimes, not Ricky Games or Ricky Grims. It's Ricky Grimes. I'm reading that right. I've achieved life. And I'm moving over to the Witch Doctor. We see ourselves Adrian. 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 I called it. I can read now. And we might see a team fight. Oh, we got some Death Prophet. No ability pick up just yet. Pudge. No hook. Here, actually he has hook. Okay. Yeah, nothing comes of that. Just Faces Void picks up his, and Windrunner, I think she picked up hers. Or Invoker, he picked up his, so they're fine. Continuing lineups, so continuing callouts. Did I get Witch Doctor? Yeah, I got Witch Doctor. Adrian playing that Witch Doctor. And Clinks is being controlled by a PoE player. And that ends up the callouts for LonelyBoyz. Moving to the side of TBG. We have Bellatrix playing that Omni-Knight. And we got Pujo. We got Pudge being controlled by Mafia Cheese. And Death Prophet is being... Oh man, look at that hair though. Holy crap. Can I just take a moment to just look at this hair and just observe it? Now, if anybody doesn't know, I'm a huge fan of long hair, but I guess this could work. I mean, this is that's fine. I mean, it's kind of long. It's like short-ish long. Oh, I see. Is that a hat? Is she wearing a cloth on her head? What the heck is going on? I am so confused by her hairstyle right now. It's like a cloth, but it's not. It's like a cloth and hair. It's a hairy cloth. And she's blindfolded. You know, the more I look at it, the worse it gets. Okay, let's stop this. Alright. Death Prophet is being controlled by Quilly. Very strange things indeed. And speaking of hair, look at this Invoker's hair. What's his hair doing? Let's go ahead and check out this hair. Okay, that's pretty... Are those horns? I'm confused. I'm not sure if those are horns or braids. Those look like horns. Huh. You know, maybe I should just take a break from looking at the hair stuff and just like focus on the casting. Let me do that. We have Chaos Owners playing that Invoker, and last but not least, on this Weaver, who has no hair, by the way. He's just an exoskeleton. We have KY playing that Weaver, and that ends all the callouts. Ends all the callouts on the map. So, there you go. we have successfully done everything in the world to make us as fun as we can. And welcome to the meta. The Business Gaming have never played Pudge in JDL before this game. Oh man, so we're about to see ourselves some new stuff. Like Pudge, go ahead and initiate the hacks. So we'll see if Mafia Cheese has a pocket Pudge. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know either. I mean, it's a mystery. It's a freaking guess. But overall, Pudge, as far as how he plays, if I'm not mistaken, Pudge with the 8th lens is pretty broken, and the Aghanim Scepter is extremely broken. So, and you know, would Pudge benefit at all from an Octarine Core? I feel like he wouldn't, because he damages himself just as much as he damages his enemy. 120. What's 25% of 120? Hold on. Where are these items at? I forgot. How do you build Octarine Core? Isn't it like a Soul Booster plus Soul Booster? You need a Soul Booster, right? Oh shoot! Dang it! Ah, they keep moving. Why can't I find a Soul Booster? Right, Bloodstone recipe change. I forgot. That was a long time ago. Yeah, there's Octarine Core. Found it. I found it. So it gives him 25%. Yeah, it's not worth it. This is never worth it. No, this is, come on, it's crap. I mean, I guess if you get an Octarine Core, 8th lens, Aghanim Scepter, you have like what, a 3-second cooldown on your hook. That's probably not worth it. Anywho, moving back into the lineups. We see ourselves the lineups actually matching up to be Bellatrix hanging out with the Death Prophet up top, so it's gonna be, or sorry, hanging out with Quilly up top. So Omni Death Prophet duo lane versus the Witch Doctor Clinks duo lane, and on the bottom lane we have ourselves Weaver hanging out with the Pudge, which I guess is an interesting lineup. I mean, I seriously doubt they're gonna be able to kill the Faceless Void, but that is pure damage, and that is a double right click from Weaver coming out once he gets those Gemini attacks. So it's gonna be quite a bit of damage coming for these guys. Alright, and as far as the lane for Lonely, they had the Lich, who's going to be hanging out in the background, just sacrificing creep, so I don't expect to see much from him just yet. We might see him get aggressive on top of Weaver, though. That is a potential kill. Weaver, not the most HP in the world, about 503 HP, and that's with the Circlet. So yeah, he's going to have a hell of a time in this lane, if he does get hit with those nukes. Unfortunately for him, he's pretty darn fast, so he can just bomb and weave out of there. And mid lane, the one lane I didn't talk about because I want to leave it for the last. Invoker versus Windranger. I actually don't know who's supposed to win this lane. Like I'm going to be completely honest with you, because my time in Dota has not been long enough to see how Windrunner fares versus the dirty Invoker pickers. I'm assuming Windrunner can do relatively fine. She can get the power shots and get the farm, but I'm just also assuming that Invoker can blow up Windrunner just as fast as she can blow him up. She does have a win run, so she should be able to not be too terribly feared, or she shouldn't have to fear too much for the cold snaps. But on the same token, win run doesn't last forever, so she can still die from that. So damage is damage. So she needs to be really careful about that. But yeah, Chaos Ownage is going to be going for the standard, I guess, Quas X-Sword Invoker. Having a little bit of fun with that. Already has a Blades of Attack, so he's going for straight up, I'm going to right click you to death. Phase boots will be fast on him. And also double Fairy Fire, so nice. So more regen going his way. Meanwhile, Death Prophet, her item build, I mean, she's working on Magic Wand. What else does it say? And Witch Doctor, yeah, I mean, they're just going to trade right clicks. That's really about it. Alright, moving on to top lane, we got Clinks actually taking quite a bit of damage from the Death Prophet. Quilly gonna be just flexing her muscles, just showing Clinks how well she can suck his life away. Man, I need to be careful about saying that. Wow. Yeah, so yeah, Death Prophet versus this lane. Not sure who's going to be the advantageous ones. You have the Omni Knight in the background who can actually drop the heals, so that's going to be really nice. And Omni Knight has actually opted not to point or put a point in anything. Lich actually come around the corner, so they did rotate Lich up top, so they're trying to make sure the bottom lane had a good lane. Now Omni Knight's going to be in a ton of trouble. Might need to get the repel first, which is never ideal at all. It's going to actually walk towards the creeps, taking quite a bit of damage. Lich has no point inside of his stun, or sorry, has no point inside of his nuke, so he's going to be forced to right click the Omni Knight all the way down to the hill. So the Omni Knight will be able to make it on that one. Meanwhile, Quilly up top, only 1 point inside of his Siphon Spirit, has Cryptic Storm available, but probably doesn't want to use it. And down bottom, Faceless Void. Faceless Void going to be hanging out with the Weaver and the Pudge combination, just having the best of times. The Wanabis Cannabis, as some people like to call it. It's not really a Wombo combo, it's just kind of Pudge and Weaver. I mean, just Like the most randomest of assortments of heroes. Truly the most randomest. And now moving on to mid lane, looks like the Windrunner, she's doing relatively well versus the Invoker, so her right click damage is sitting pretty nice. Also her missile speed, if I'm not mistaken, is actually pretty good too, so that's probably the reason why she's having the better time right clicking. But all said and done though, yeah, she can still get blown up by Invoker, like one Sunstrike would do it. Okay, one Sunstrike and maybe 3 right clicks, sure. Let's call it that. Let's put numbers to this. Let's commit. Let's go ahead and put your bets in. And speaking of bets, I didn't talk about this, but people who are betting on the JDL, there's a I think a 75% vote towards LonelyBoyz for winning this game for doing 2-0 in this series, which is not happening anymore, by the way, because LonelyBoyz did drop the first game, and only like 11% chance that TBG will take both games. And it's actually interesting to mention that part because at the end of the day, I looked at the history of their games, and TBG are actually in the losing streak so far. It's like they're literally 1 game down versus LonelyBoyz. They play like 6 or 7 games, so the advantage right now is going towards LonelyBoyz. But if TBG can win this series 2-0, then they will be completely tied. Like 100%, we have the same exact wins and same amount of losses versus each other. So yeah. So that's just one little fact I want to bring up because that just kind of shows that maybe these teams have a grudge match going back and forth. Maybe they're rivals. Who knows? Maybe it's Duke versus Chapel Hill. If anybody doesn't watch basketball or football and knows nothing about North Carolina sports, it's okay, because I don't either. I just know that that's a cool thing to say on the internet. So they say. So they say. Moving on to the mid lane, Windrunner has herself 18 last hits, so still sitting pretty well. As far as how the safe lanes are doing, Windrunner getting aggressive, trying to get some right clicks, but unfortunately, only able to get 2 shots off before she has to run away. That's the level. Death Prophet at the top taking quite a bit of damage. First blood going through, but my bad. CulBlu's camera doing some strange things. I will blame it all on the camera control. That was all me. Yeah, Death Prophet going to be down up top. She tried to drop a few Siphon Spirits, but looks like it didn't do enough for her. She just couldn't get enough sucked in. And speaking of getting enough sucked in, actually Pudge trying to get a hook. The hook does hit on top of the creep, unfortunately, so he's going to be out on a little bit of mana and also out on the kill. That might have been a kill on top of Windrunner, but she does have Windrunner available. Only level 1 inside of it though, so she's not investing a ton of points in that. And now the Observer from the dire side going to be able to see when the Pudge does rotate in, especially if he comes around this side over here. So yeah. Overall, just a relatively protected Windrunner. I don't expect to see her die a few times. I do not expect to see her die a few times, but she still can get blown up. She can still get dunked on by the Invoker. Dropping that meatball. Speaking of meatballs, we got Ricky Grimes. He might be in a little bit of trouble. Pudge with the hook will be enough. He actually time walks immediately. Pudge has a hook available. Hook does hit. And here comes the damage. Pudge is getting quite a bit of damage off, and Weaver has the right click necessary. The right click will be there. Dramatic attack. Not going to be enough. The very far gets eaten up, and now we got KY. Going to be forced to commit a little bit more. He will commit because he hit. And now Weaver's in a little trouble. If Pudge has a hook, that will be nice. But it looks like Pudge doesn't have a hook. They actually canceled the TP. Or it got cancelled. I didn't see who was trying to TP. I did not see who was trying to TP, but it looks like they're going to say, hey, let's push the tower. Pudge trying to get some mana. And more things are happening. So more things are happening in the game. Speaking of things happening in the game, Gold Graph showing us in favor of, hey, so Hey Face the Void just died. But LonelyBoyz holding on to that Gold Graph this game, so they're doing okay in the early games. Their last hits are sitting fantastic right now. Invoker getting, yeah, Invoker pretty much getting crapped on right now. Windrunner just flexing her muscles, showing you that she can in fact lift. She can in fact lift this house off the ground. And her ult is available too, so if she gets a shackle shot into her ulti, that's going to be a definite kill. We'll probably see immediate TP responses in for Invoker's team though, so yeah, we gotta be careful about that. Speaking of TP responses, hanging out in the top lane, Witch Doctor plus Lich. No TP's coming through just yet. Lich actually has no TP scroll, but Witch Doctor does have one, so he can actually come in and help out. If Windrunner does get dove on, or actually help go for the kill. On the other side, supports, I guess Omni is a support, so he should have a TP scroll, but he doesn't. And Pudge has a TP scroll available though, so. Anyway, speaking of having a TP scroll available, Pudge has a haste rune available. He's going to actually show himself a little bit too soon. They're going to try to go for the Windrunner, taking quite a bit of damage. She's going to be dropping the Windrunner. Damage will not be there, so Mafia Cheese will not be having it, or will not be having any of that kill. Will not be having a piece of that meat. Because bacon is best indeed, but you got to catch it first, bro. You got to catch it first. Moving back into, oh wait, hold on. I hear more things happening. Mid lane, these guys are doing shenanigans. Mafia Cheese, will he be able to get the hook? We gotta wait for the moment because up top lane we got these guys getting kind of surrounded. Lich waiting on the interim, trying to go for something. And oh, the Faceless Void shows up. Chronosphere actually falls through. He actually goes forward, trying to get a kill on top of the Faceless Void to follow up. Has himself a nice little time dilation available, but doesn't use it. Instead, just a Chronosphere to commit for the kill. More than enough to help him get the kill on top of Pudge. So Bacon taking out the Pudge. I always knew Pudge would die by eating, because bacon is in fact best. Alright, so we got more arrows getting drawn around. I think that's pink. So pink is Lich. So Lich is drawing a whole bunch of arrows on the map. He actually wants to go for a kill. I guess he can get a kill. I don't really know what much he can do. Anyway, Clinks has an ulti available, so he's going to go ahead and use that ability to eat a creep, and he's going to turn around the corner. They might be able to get a kill on top of Death Prophet, but they need some stuns coming up here. Lich trying to get a slow. He will not be able to get anything but get hooked into the middle of it. So they're going to get intimate really nice, really fast. Looks like he will be able to back away. Still alive, though. Witch Doctor's heal a little bit too strong. The kill does finally go on top of Death Prophet. Omni Knight just being very selfish. Just going to go ahead and repel himself because he's selfish. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Weaver versus Faceless Void. Who's going to win the fight is a big question. And you know, all things considered, I've never considered a Faceless Void versus a Weaver. It's actually kind of a good matchup. Because one of Weaver's biggest things is the simple fact that he can just Sakuchi continuously in all these fights. He can Sakuchi like maybe 3 or 4 times during a team fight. And it doesn't cost him too much mana, only costs him 60 mana. Considering all things considered, Weaver's mana pool is not that great, but 60 mana for dropping, like, you know, for having max move speed for 4 seconds, I mean, heck yeah, I'll do it all the time. So time dilation works pretty well because it does give 9 seconds extra cooldown on top of that. So that's gonna be really nice to see that play out in the next few fights. But for now, we're just gonna see that bottom tower go down. Invoker rotated in, just got himself a tower kill, and gonna go ahead and rotate back mid. Not having the best of time gold wise, so any gold he can get, the better he'll be. And speaking of items, still nothing important showing up. Soul Ring on Clinks, surprising Soul Ring on Clinks. I don't know if this means we're going to see a Bloodstone, but I hope it doesn't, because that will be horrid. But yeah, Clinks going for the Soul Ring just to absolutely make sure that he has enough mana for his Strife. Actually, absolutely make sure he has enough mana for his ulti as well. It's basically like a hand of Midas. Anyway. Witch Doctor's taking a little bit of damage. He's around the corner. Faces will come around the corner. Has the ulti available. Drops a chrono. Catches 2. They're going to go for some damage. They're going to be able to catch both of these guys out. Both will die. Casket flying from Witch Doctor. Going to be able to get the kill. Weaver shows up top. KY trying to avenge his allies. Unfortunately, can't really do anything but just throw beetles and get some last hits. So he's not going to be having the most funnest of times. And Clinks actually surprisingly not going for the Orchids I was expecting him to go for. Yeah, just a Soul Ring, Wraithband. So he's going for some standard. I want to get involved in these fights. I want to get nasty and dirty and do things with your team. In a consensual way. It's very consensual both ways. I'm just gonna say that. Gotta make sure I cover my bases here because, you know, some people get offended. Don't want to make anybody mad. The internet. Oh, the internet. Alright, as far as the lineups go, though, we got a lot of people hanging out for Radiant up top. I don't know if we're going to see a tower push or if we're going to see something going on. Just a lot of people hanging out here. Clinks actually gets spot out completely, so they will back away. I think Clinks is alerted that they're alerted. He heard that they heard that he was there, so he's going to go ahead and just give himself some more right clicks. And as far as our net worth, I mean, it's not sitting too terribly impressive right now, but Clinks at 4K net worth, so he's sitting okay. He's in okay for the end of the laning stage, essentially. So he had a relatively good start. Hasn't really been bothered too much. Has 3 kills to his name. Basically been involved in almost all of his team's kills. And then we got Pudge hanging around the backside. No observable wards around the corner to scout it out. Just a sentry. And back mid. So Death Prophet versus Windrunner. Her name is Windrunner, not Windranger. It's all this nonsense. Death Prophet versus Windrunner just going to hang out with each other. Windrunner working for a fast Aghanim Scepter. Actually gets herself the ulti off. Gets herself the shackle off. We'll be able to get the ulti off. Misses the power shot. Will be forced to back away. Cold Snap coming through from Invoker, but it's not going to be enough to actually get the kill on top of the Windrunner. She will be popping that Windrun for a whole entire 3 seconds of getting away. But a lot of TP rotations came in for TBG, so TBG were ready for that. They just weren't expecting Windrunner to not stay there for a little bit longer. I honestly thought she might have committed a little bit more. Speaking of committing, though, we got Ricky Grimes. He's about to show up. He commits to Chronosphere. He will be able to get the damage. Unfortunately, Lich's not going to be able to do anything but just stand there and just throw some right clicks. But it doesn't matter. It will be more than enough. Faceless Void able to get enough damage to get the kill. It's a solo kill towards the Omni. And speaking of Omni, he's actually not working towards anything too terribly impressive. Tranquil boots, I'm assuming, are coming up soon on him. Fight recap to show you just how few spells were used. Omni didn't really have much of a chance. He just wants level 6. He just wants level 6. He's on a level 3 right now. Pretty bad day for Omni. Sad, sad Omni night. Moving on to the goal graph, showing some favor of LonelyBoyz. Not the hugest of a surprise. They've committed quite a few resources to make sure that they hold on to the lead, and also because Winrunner has such a good. Oh, but hold on, before we talk about that, kills happening. Pudge actually dies down bottom. Clink's working out pretty well. All he really needs to do is just show up. His team has his back, and looks like they were able to get the kill on top of Pudge. So Pudge does go down. Bottom tower will be falling down as well. So towers will be balanced, and according to this, apparently Pudge just died. Moving on to the top lane, we got Weaver trying to dive on top of the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor got the malediction off on top of Weaver, so Weaver will be forced to drop the ulti. Damage coming through though. Weaver does get the kill on top of Witch Doctor, and KY will be able to walk away. So still keep himself alive. Will he continue his streak like he did last time and just not die at all? I doubt it. I think Weaver's going to get popped a few times, but for right now, everything's sitting pretty well. Everything's sitting pretty darn good. We got Faces Void working towards the Vladimir's offering, so he's going to be going for the Aura Void, as I like to call him. Aura Borealis, something like that. But I still do hope we see ourselves a Blink Dagger, because if he gets himself a Vladimir's offering, it's going to be nice for his team, helping his team go for the team fight. That's what teams do. And now we got Death Prophet actually popping the ulti. Some damage coming towards the Invoker mid, so he actually almost went down to the Clinks. And that's a Clinks without an Orchid, so that's pretty darn scary that Invoker got that low. And Clinks is going to continue to progress. He's working on a nice little Desolator, so that will be a beautiful item for him to have overall. Meanwhile, I hear Sunstrike. I don't see it. Oh my gosh, stop doing that. I hate you. Stop, Invoker. Why can't they just like show like an indicator on the map when Sunstrike's falling? I mean, people complain, it's like, oh my gosh, my skill cap. It's like, bro, it's just freaking Sunstrike. Anyway, Weaver gonna go ahead and find himself a Lich, and Lich will begin scouted out by the best creep in the world. It does play points, and now they do get the damage. The tower will be getting killed here in a few seconds. It's like, no. Faces Void. I don't know if Ricky got. Oh, he's gonna go ahead and come forward. They will commit. No, they will not commit the Chronosphere. Unfortunately, Faces Void is out of mana, but he has a Mango available, and now he has a Vladimir's offering. They're gonna go ahead and ping around the corner. They see the Weaver. KY might be just losing his life. He will be able to TP out of here just in time. The Observer Warriors do scout out the Faces Void. Or sorry, do scout out the Invoker. Invoker might be getting dunked on here in a few seconds. He's actually gonna take quite a bit of damage. The damage coming through. Wish I could follow with the Malediction, so Invoker will be going down. Maledict ticks should be enough. Oh nope, I lied. Invoker too much regen. Too many points in class. That's OP. That's OP. That region though. And Invoker able to survive because Class region, I mean it's totally balanced, right? I mean he gets what like 5 region, 4 region per instance, so that's 12 region. Pretty broken. I agree. But I guess you gotta manage all that stuff. Can't have everything you want. Anyway, pings do come down bottom towards the jungle. I don't know if this means they're going to smoke up and go for a gank, but they are losing the top tower, so that will be falling down. Not going to be the best of times for them, but their towers will be getting knocked off pretty fast, which really sucks because they want to make sure Weaver has the rune to farm. But then again, it's Weaver, so he can always have the rune to farm. Just kind of split push while his team does some Death Ball meta. Speaking of Death Ball, though, we got the Death Ball for Lonely coming up. They actually get the ulti off on top of Weaver. Weaver might be in trouble. Beautiful hook coming from Pudge, but the ulti from Lich will be following here. It's going to be able to bounce on top of Jack Squat. So 2 ultis well wasted. Well played coming from the Pudge. Nice little. It's basically who needs Earth Spirit when you got a Pudge? I mean, come on. Come on, let's just do old school Earth Spirit and just get a support Pudge. That's what you want. That's what you want in your games. But a beautiful save coming up from Mafia Cheese. Always on point. Basically Beyonce. And KY is still taking a ton of damage. So these guys are doing really well, playing really well together. I love this. I love the synergy. Like, you know, Pudge saves Weaver, Omni heals Weaver, Weaver does damage. We're all happy. So definitely still a 4 protect 1 type shot. And Weaver dropping the Beatles, just trying to introduce these guys to some new music. He thinks the Beatles are pretty awesome. Death Prophet dropping the ulti. Gonna go ahead and give himself some Megadeth going. Tower should be going down here in a few seconds. Pudge has a hook and an ulti available though, so it just might be a kill here very soon. Clinks is stalking around the corner. She has a Deso available, a full Deso finished up, and we're only 16 minutes into the game. We'll see if this pays off for him. Having his damage output be this high though is going to be pretty darn impactful. It's going to be crippling to some extent until Omni gets his ult up, who is only level 5 by the way. So just want to go ahead and point that out. Omni doesn't have his ulti yet, which actually hurts a lot because once Faces Void gets a chrono, and if Witch Doctor is able to get his ulti off, and Omni doesn't have his ulti yet, I mean, That's just so much physical damage going down TBG's throat, and you just don't want to have that kind of stuff happening. So we got a DC coming out from Clinks. Clink's not having a really great time. Weaver's having a good time though. And Ricky Grimes, Vladimir's offering timing. Yes, 14 minutes and 22 seconds. Where the average, really, I didn't realize it was that fast. The average Faces Void Vlad's timing is a 16:42. So, yeah. Once again, Ricky Grimes doing pretty well on that farming timing. Just getting those big items, helping his team out overall. And having a Vladimir's offering this early when your Clinks has this much damage, I mean, sure, it's Clinks, he has like 10 damage total, but once he gets more items, once he gets more searing arrow damage, I mean, Vladimir's offering amplifies that too, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, let me take it back. I think I'm mistaken. If I'm not I think Vladimir's offering only boosts the damage coming out from your attributes, so your base damage, which would be the white number down here. So bonus damage over here would not be increased by Vladimir's offering and vice versa. So anyway, so Clinks will have, what is it, 30%, 15% of 82. Man, I cannot do math that fast. It's like less than 15, so like let's say 10-ish. 10 plus damage, plus 59, plus negative armor, which is, I mean, oh man, oh jeez, I forgot about the armor. Alright guys, so we got a little bit of pause time. Clinks is not here anyway, so let's go ahead and do the math. So for anybody who doesn't know Dota stuff, we'll talk about it later. Actually no, we won't. We'll talk about it now, because Clinks might DC again. For anybody who doesn't know Dota stuff, the way negative armor works out at the end of the day is that for every 1 point of armor you have, you either increase your survivability from physical damage by 7% or you decrease it by 7%. So what that means is that if you have a negative 10 armor on you, that's like extra 70% incoming damage, which is almost double the amount of damage. It's not yet, it's not quite double the damage. Double damage is 100%. For anybody who doesn't know math, or for anybody who's not used to doing math with fractions. So 70% is still a sizable increase. So for Clinks right now, he has 7 times 7, which is 49, so that's about a 50% increase in damage, roughly. So that's, he's hitting, what was that, 1/4 harder than he would normally hit. And if you add that on top of the fact that he has a bonus damage, which bonus damage does get increased by that, I think, and he has his bonus damage coming from Dark Pact, or Death Pact, I mean, it's just more damage overall. So just long story short, Clinks can hit pretty hard, despite the fact his numbers don't look all that impressive yet. Speaking of hitting pretty hard, we see Roshan actually taking quite a bit of damage. Faces Void plus Clinks will be more than enough to kill him. With the few bashes that they'll get, plus the fact that Faces Void can time walk half the damage he actually gets hit with, he'll be fine. He will be fine. Clinks has the Aegis, so now he'll be more bold, more brave, bolder and braver than ever. Go in for those kills. That's right, PoE player, you go and kill stuff. And he's actually working on, is that a diffusal? No, diffusal's silly. Manta style. Manta style? I would assume a Manta style because that's the only thing that can really hurt him at this point. Death Prophet does have her AoE silence, which she has 0 points in, but it will be a factor soon. So, yeah, actually no, Manta style makes sense because of the Death of Appearance. Alright, cool. So Manta style will make a lot of sense because of the Death of Appearance and because of the actual reveal. There's also Sanjin Yasha, which I don't think I've ever seen a Clinks go for Sanjin Yasha, but I mean, just want to mention it before it happens. Yeah, speaking of mention things before it happens, I think Pudge sees the Clinks, so Clinks gonna be backing away. Or Pudge gonna be backing away. Doesn't want to get cut off. And if Pudge can throw a blind hook and catch Clinks, I'll be very impressed. Looks like no blind hook will be happening. Unless, does Clinks have an Ags ability? If he does, I'm gonna be very upset because I did not get the memo for that. That'd be pretty darn ridiculous. Now, when Clinks uses Dark Pact, he actually makes 5 of himself. He's basically Arc Warden. Ah, game's OP, please nerf. Smoke Gang coming through. They're gonna go ahead and run themselves around the corner. Windrunner Illusion does get scouted out. Pudge just gonna go walk by it. So a little bit of false sense of security coming up for Lonely right now. So they need to be very careful. They should know that all 5 are missing on the map, but Windrunner will begin scouted out here. Observer coming out for the team. They do see her. The hook from Pudge, he's actually not revealed, so I don't know if they think it's Illusion or not. But if Pudge is revealed, so they do think it's official. They're gonna go for it. They're diving as hard as they can. Windrunner gonna be in a lot of trouble. Pudge dropping the hook. The hook misses completely, and Windrunner gonna go ahead and just drop some more damage. Not even paying attention down at the bottom. She does go down at the end of the day, though. And we got a DC coming up from Clinks because that timing, though. I would say tactical pause, but I mean, I guess we can tactically see Windrunner die. That's about it. Like, can I even? What is going on right now? Is that? I can't. Like, how is he? I mean, I understand he's using a blink dagger and like snow effects because winter and stuff, but. I guess I've never seen somebody blink this close. Man, we're learning so much today about character models. Like, look at this crap. Like, Faces Void blinking. Like, does he really need to blink? I mean, he can freaking walk through time. Come on now. Come on, Faces Void. Come on, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's apply some physics to our game, to our fictional games. Let's do this. But yeah, anyway, Faces Void blinking forward, doing some nice shenanigans. He has a blink dagger available, which I think is a definitely necessary item for a team fight, which is what Lonely have. And actually, all things considered, I didn't talk about this before, but Lonely have the proper lineup. I've seen a few teams that love to go for Faces Void, but they always end up going for like a full melee lineup, which never really works, because you're melee. You need people with range to actually do things versus everything. So having this melee team is actually fantastic, because that means Faces Void can actually, or having this range team is actually fantastic, because that means Faces Void can blink in, drop chrono, doesn't have to worry about catching anybody, and everybody should be able to do their respective damage. Like Lich can throw a few right clicks and throw his ults. That's how they got the kill on top of the Omni Knight down at the bottom, where Lich actually right clicked. It's actually pretty impressive to see him actually help with the kill. You can also have Clinks who can just stay on the outside, just stay in the back line and just wreck stuff. And I honestly, I would have loved to see a Drow Ranger in this game. I think if you just replace Lich with a Drow Ranger, support Drow, you don't have as much utility, but the damage output's pretty strong. Actually, shoot, replace Wish Doctor with Drow Ranger. Let Drow Ranger build a mech or something. That'd be pretty impressive. But I'm actually a little bit surprised to see that Clinks didn't go for the Orchids. Like I said, he did decide to rush, or he got a Soul Ring, and then he rushed up a Deso. And that's a really helpful item for him overall to help blow up people. But still, overall, I think TBG's lineup can still deal with Clinks relatively well. Speaking of dealing with Clinks relatively well, we got, oh man, whoa, Faces Void getting blown up. He does die, unfortunately. Did get hooked up by the Pudge. And by hooked up, I don't mean in the positive way, I mean in the negative way. A lot of spells were committed to this, but it doesn't really matter. Those are just easy, low cooldown spells. So a kill's a kill. Faces Void getting put down into the ground. Take a look at the gold graph. I don't think it will take that huge of a jump from a Faces Void death, but apparently Faces Void was worth some money. Looks like Faces Void lost 401 gold, so I guess most of that's coming from the fact that there's a buyback, or a gold loss factor. What was it? Comeback factor. Net worth factor. There it is, the net worth factor. It's like a TV show you shouldn't watch. Moving on to the mid lane, we got Lich just roaming around. I don't really see where the rotations are coming through, and at this specific point, it's kind of awkward for both teams, because, you know, Faces Void is kind of the core of the team fight for Lonely. He's kind of the equivalent of Magnus, where he just wants to blink in, drop his ult, get a good ult, and his team wins the fight. Magnus, same exact concept, except for a little bit more straightforward. Faces Void needs to be a little bit more creative with the stuff, because he can actually get the right click damage off if he so desires. But TBG on the other side, they finally have Omni with a level 7, so that means he has his ulti available, so they can start deathballing too. And it makes it a little bit harder for them to deathball, because they do have to worry about making sure Weaver doesn't die, and Clinks is all around the map. And right now, Clinks can blow up Weaver before Weaver can actually do anything special. So we do have one runner forcing, or trying to run away, actually trying to bait out the Weaver. So they're trying to go for the kill Weaver. If he pops the Coochie, he just might die here soon. Looks like they're all coming around the corner. Desperate Appearance is available. Looks like no Smoky Sea. Beautiful play coming from Weaver. He runs around the other side. Observers will be able to give him that vision that he needs. And now we got Faces Void. He blinks forward, or time walks forward. Blink's still available, but both teams are rotating towards your Omni Knight and crew are trying to get into position and make sure that Weaver doesn't die. And this is what I said before, is like, it's really awkward because TBG wants a deathball meta, but they can't because Weaver will probably die every single time. And then LonelyBoyz, they want a deathball too, but if they all are 5 together, then they will get their tower split pushed. And once the towers are split pushed, it's pretty much over. Like, you know, once these towers go down, that's all the outer towers you're gonna get. And speaking of outer towers you're gonna get, Lich able to dodge the beetles, and he will be able to TP out of here. Says I don't even like listening to that band, bro. So he will be able to get out of there. TP out, nice and safe. Feeling pretty well about himself. Flexing a little bit. Flexing his frosty muscles. And speaking of flexing muscles, I don't think I talked at all about Weaver's Lincoln Sphere. So Weaver has the Lincoln Sphere, Invoker just got an Aghanim Scepter, had the Hand of Midas for quite a long time, so he was going for the more that I'm going to invest in the late game type build. Yeah, Tornado Stick finished up as well, so typical build up for Invoker, just Hand of Midas, Tornado Stick, and straight into Aghanim Scepter. So he didn't forego the Aghanim Scepter, or he didn't forego the Hand of Midas this game. Moving to the rest of the items, Aetherlin's finished up on Pudge, so he has extra range, which is also really nice for him overall. And now we got LonelyBoyz. They do have the mechanism up on Lich. They have the Aghanim Scepter for Windrunner. No damage just yet, so probably Deso, maybe, or it's not Deso, probably Daedalus would be a good next item. Actually, speaking of next item, we got Windrunner. Beautiful Shackle Shot catching 2. Face of Void follows up with the Chrono, but unfortunately misses, and now Punch Hook misses completely. The damage will be there, though. Lich ulti bounce around. Witch Shock to ulti bounce around just a little bit, not a ton. Lich ulti will be bouncing around the other team, though, and looks like they do drop the Death and Blast. Misses everything. LonelyBoyz losing the Face of Void for Death Prophet. Basically, both offlaners dying in the whole entire fight. Death Prophet still has her ulti though, so she's a little bit more of a valuable kill. More of a valuable kill in the temporary, but a little bit less of a valuable kill overall. Because of the fact she still has her ulti available, it means that when she comes back alive, that TBG can just be more aggressive and push again. But given the fact that Omni Knight, bro, what you doing, bro? He goes down. And yes, Clinks did in fact go for the Diffusal Blade, so I did say Manta Style was an okay item for him to go for. Diffusal Blade makes a lot of sense. You can purge off the Omni Knight's ability and just be happy about it. So a few extra kills going towards PoE player's side, and that means that we're going to have to see more defensive items come up from Invoker. We're going to see more defensive items come up from Weaver. And if Weaver has to get something like an Aghanim Scepter, or no, a BKB, then that's not a good day. Weaver does not want a BKB. Shoot, Weaver doesn't even need boots. I do know it's old meta. I do know it's not really all that doable nowadays. But if you really want to, you can play Weaver without boots. It's actually pretty cool to see Weaver 6-slotted with no boots. Anyway, Sunstrike coming from Invoker. It's going to be missing the Lich. And now it looks like we have Weaver might be in the middle of everything. Face of Void has the ulti available. Looks like no, he doesn't. Shackle Shot does come through. They have the vision necessary. They will be able to get the kills. Weaver will be going down. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Just trying to what started off as a solo kill on top of Lich turned into a complete utter disaster. Weaver does go down, and they're going to actually continue the chase. I hear Windrunner Shackle Shot does not latch on top of the Pudge, but she's going to go ahead and chase. Some damage coming through. Nice tornado stick coming from Death Prophet. Beautiful hook from Pudge. Nice timing on that, but looks like Windrunner still has her ability going, so Pudge will be going down. Very unfortunate. I actually thought that purged her abilities, but looks like it doesn't. And overall 3 pickoffs on TBG's lineup. LonelyBoyz will be having a nice little series of engagements. Just basically Pudge's hook. I thought he was safe. But that was before I noticed the fact that Windrunner's ulti didn't wear off of him. Which is funny because I thought so Tornado Stick purges or does a hard purge on somebody after they fall, so it gets rid of little buffs and stuff like Windrunner's ult. But I guess Windrunner's ult only works or applies itself to the enemy as opposed to applying itself to anything else. Also, that's not even true. No, Focus Fire stays on her. So yeah, anyway. The game is obviously drunk, guys. The game is obviously drunk. Drunk. Aghanim Scepter coming up on Face's Voice, so he will have a little bit longer of a ulti, and he will also have a shorter cooldown, so going down to about a 60-second cooldown. Meanwhile, Clinks, he will begin this part 2 of his Diffusal Blade here very soon, but not before Windrunner gets her crit. So she will be going for the crit. More damage is more damage. Having a really fun time with that. Speaking of fun times, we got Pudge hanging out on the backside, run as fast as he possibly can, trying to find a kill, finds a Clinks. If he can get the pick off, no, he won't be able to get the pick off. Weaver does Sakuchi for it, though. And Face of Voice still hiding in the trees. I think they're just assuming that he walked out. Looks like he did, in fact, walk out. Now we got Clinks. Oh, man, Clinks doing so much damage to the Weaver. Holy crap. Yeah, that was just Clinks by himself. Took Weaver down to half HP, forced him to drop the ulti just to back away. And Clinks did, in fact, go for the Diffusal Blade plus the Deso. So I feel okay with that. I mentioned it. I mean, I didn't mention it confidently, but I mentioned it. But it's really cool that you can do that nowadays because Diffusal Blade does not act as a unique attack modifier like it used to, which I think is cool. That means that people like PL and people like, I don't know, who else was the Diffusal? PL. People like PL and Spectre can get other items like a Deso. Maybe try to be a little bit more efficient with that. Maybe get Lifesteal too. Something like a Satanic. Anyway, so I think the smoke gang got scattered out completely. They did have a Zervoid in the area where they popped the smoke, but they're going to go and blink forward. They do catch themselves a wild Invoker by themselves. I think it's definitely worth it to go ahead and commit those ultis, and they will be committing those ultis. Pudge actually getting the save on top of Invoker for now. Invoker will be able to survive, goes invisible just to walk away. He does not die. He will not be killed today. You cannot kill the Arsenal Magus, because it sounds like a bad idea. I feel like if you kill the Arsenal Magus, you should like get a penalty to where like you can't use any attacks for 40 minutes. That'd be like a really bad idea. Let's do it. Blink Dagger does get picked up for Invoker, so he's going to be a lot more flexible, a lot more mobile. And mobility. Let's go and do a mobility check, because we have a Blink Dagger up on Face of Void. We got a Blink Dagger up on Wind Ranger. Yeah, okay, that's really it. I mean, Weaver has a Sakuchi, so it's technically kind of like a Blink Dagger, like a modified Shadow Blade, so to speak. So mobility wars, we have a lot more mobility coming out for. Yeah, just a lot more mobility coming out for LonelyBoyz. Not just counting the Blink Daggers, but just counting the fact that Clinks can actually get around there. Windrunner has the Windrun. So just two things that give you the mobility, plus on top of the Faceless Void with his own Time Walk, plus his Blink Dagger. So they're the more flexible team. They can be a lot more dynamic in the team fights, which means that they actually might be able to get a really powerful team fight. I think I have yet to see Death Prophet do something impressive with her ulti. No offense to her, of course, but just like she hasn't really been doing much with her ulti. Meanwhile, I hear things happening. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Also, I hear abilities going on. I don't know what the heck's happening. And Invoker drops a tornado. Hook from Pudge does miss. And oh, that's all the ages available. Looks like they will be getting picked up by the face or by the Clinks. And Clinks does immediately die for it. Meanwhile, Lich's ulti gonna go and bounce around on a few people. We'll be hitting somebody. And now Wishdoctor's doing some damage. Look at the damage coming from this guy. Omnight ulti does come through. I don't know if the Malediction will kill. Looks like Omnight. Looks like, yeah, he didn't get the Malediction dropped on top of him. But a lot of damage coming from Wishdoctor. It does get canceled out completely, though. Because Omnight is finally level 9. So that means that he had his ulti in the last fight. Meanwhile, we got some more fights happening on the backside. Invoker trying to run away from the Faceless Void. He will not be denied. Actually, he will be denied, and he's going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, no. That's Pudge saving the life of the Faceless Void. Or, sorry, saving the life of the Invoker. Trying to take the life of the Faceless Void. An Invoker, does he have? No. Yeah, okay. Looks like he does. He has enough to actually get out of there. Speaking of getting out of there, Middle Tower does get traded for all the kills and the Roche. And it looks like Clinks might be getting picked off. Death Prophet taking quite a bit of damage. Nice purge coming from Clinks. He actually gets the kill. Say, where you going? Where you going, girl? And it looks like now we got. I mean, he will be next to die. Clinks doing a double kill all by himself. Still going in for it. He wants to get the kill on the next person. Death and Blast does hit the Clinks pretty darn hard. And Vision is not there. Vision will be there soon. Yes, Vision will be there. Vision is there. Clinks in a lot of trouble. He's going to be getting scouted out pretty darn hard. Taking some damage around the corner. But his allies around his back. His allies got his back. Lich with the Ice Armor. Weaver going for the chase. Weaver a little bit too far. A little bit too close to the sun. Does go down. And here's a tornado from Invoker. Getting dodged. Beautiful play coming out from him. Invoker does get the kill on top of whoever the heck that was, but it doesn't really matter. Clinks is still alive. That's all you care about right now. So if PoE player can continue to blow people up like he's been doing, then you're fine. Diffuser level 2 for the extra stats. Also Deso for the extra negative armor. I think Clinks needs some crit next, and he'll be sitting pretty right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know at what part in the chat. Okay, all right. So just gonna mention one thing to mention in the chat. So definitely shout out to the Twitch chat. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for watching later in the day, later in the time period as well. If you guys are watching on YouTube, somebody said, "Okay, dude, we get it. You're a miracle." It's like, man, that's hilarious. Anyway. Like I said, I don't know what part in the game they're referencing, but I'm assuming 2 minutes ago is what they're referencing. That's pretty hilarious. Moving back into the game, though, we got Windrunner. She is working on her data list, so she's going to have greater crit here very soon. Omni Knight, he's working towards not dying more. He has 5 deaths to his name. Not too bad. I mean, the kill deaths assists, I mean, they aren't sitting too bad on anybody's side. Clinks has not died again. Are you kidding me? Clinks? Oh, sorry, wrong person. Weaver's the person we're looking for. He's actually died a few times. Actually, Clinks going to be getting scouted out by the Sentry Ward. He backs away. And yeah, KY does back away, so he has died twice, guys. I don't know about you, but I think he's died twice. I think this game's lost. TPG don't have a chance because KY has died. As one pointed out, a little bit more that KY has died. But PoE player, he hasn't died at all, so actually fairly impressive on how these heroes are just managing to not die. When he does die, it's going to be a very pretty mint going towards whoever gets the kill. I will say that much. So hopefully I can get that goal on top of Omni Knight so he can get an Ags or something. But outside of that, I mean, just the rest of the team are doing relatively well on both sides. The Gorgraf showing a heavy, wrong graph. Gorgraf showing a heavy, okay, not heavy, slight favoring of Lonely, but it was heavy at one point. And TBG have been able to fight themselves back into the game. Just a few key pickoffs and they won the Roche fight, if I'm not mistaken, until Clinks just decided to wreck everybody's face. So up until that point, it was at that moment that they knew that they immediately regret their decision. So that's pretty much it for that one. And BKB coming up on Clinks, so he can actually continuously get those right clicks. So nice item choice. That means that pretty much all of the damage coming from Invoker, with the exception of his right click, is going to be pretty much useless. Pudge will be annoying, but he won't be able to damage him in Weaver Sakuchi. You don't play Weaver for Sakuchi damage. You play him for just to be able to bob and weave and get some split pushing going. And speaking of split pushing, TBG have not really been playing the game that they want to be playing. The reason why I say that is because you really want to have KY be out there and just go for a split push, and he really can't. He really can't, because if he does try to go out there, he will get blown up by the Clinks, because Clink's damage output is pretty much enough. I mean, 4 seconds, chase Weaver for 4 seconds, kill him within the 6 seconds as ulti's down, and then you got him. So a lot of fear endowed within this Weaver. I'm moving on to the buyback status, because that's becoming more and more important as the game goes along. We see Invoker, he's sitting at a 1 buyback. We also have Death Prophet, she has a buyback as well. And Witch Doctor has a buyback, so both sides have some people with buybacks, but not the important people. Speaking of important people, Windrunner's hand up top, Daedalus in hand. She's trying to get as much damage on tower as possible. Looks like nobody's going to respond. We got a TP response finally coming up from Weaver, and Windrunner is going to need to run away. They Sunstrike into the trees, just trying to see if Windrunner blunk into the trees, but it looks like she didn't. Meanwhile, Omnight taking quite a bit of damage. He will be going down. Last right click from Clinks will be enough. Now Clinks going to be going toe-to-toe with the Invoker, but Invoker will be getting the damage. The BKB coming up from Clinks is going to be forced out. Dust Appearance coming through. Clinks getting dusted up, but who really cares? Face of a beautiful chrono. They're going to be able to turn this fight. This will be the damage they need, and oh, Clinks. Clinks, go home, you're drunk, bro. Clinks is trying to get as much damage as possible on top of these guys, and he does get caught the chrono, but who really cares? His team shows up. The cavalry has arrived, and this should be turning into a push. LonelyBoyz need to push while they can, get as many towers as possible. Clink's able to survive that last fight mainly because, by the grace of goodness, his Faceless Void was there just in time. BKB charge was forced out though, so I guess one slight resource loss. That was a whole entire 10-second BKB charge.
Look at it go.
Alright, so bottom tower posturing heavy setting for the tower to go down. So TPG might be losing that, but meanwhile, KY is like, bro, I'm still a Weaver, I still got this. And is he working on MKB? It's either MKB or Daedalus. I think MKB is a better item for him because he can hit so fast, or he can hit so many times. But yeah, Daedalus would be nice too. Anyway, Clinks on the other side, the other Weaver, the one who goes invisible and does damage to towers as well. He's gonna be on the other side, just doing some damage to the tower. They do get themselves to tier 2. Chronosphere fall on top of KY. Oh no, KY does not want to die right now. He has ulti available, but he can drop it. He does not have his Sakuchi available once he does come back up. But it looks like he doesn't even have a chance. Shackled to a tree, does get murdered in the face, because that's the best of places to get murdered. And that ends all of that stuff. So yeah, the game's going on. Lich has a item that Clinks used to have, which is that soul ring. Clinks looks like he won a TP scroll, so he can TP top, and he does get his soul ring back. So yeah, team plays on both sides. And yeah, moving back over to TBG side. I mean, I stated this before during the draft, and I guess it's important for me to mention it because it's been more or less true, but LonelyBoyz have been there with the execution. Their lineup is really execution based. Like, they really need to get the chronos off. They really need to make sure Witch Doctor can drop the ulti to get the damage through. And they also need to make sure that Windrunner doesn't get caught out too many times, because sometimes she can have tunnel vision with that focus fire. It's a little bit too focused, so to speak. So their lineup is a lot more execution based, but it's really been working out for them. Like, they've been able to get the Clinks to get the pickoffs. He's been a fantastic X factor in this whole entire game. The amount of damage he's been putting out has been ridiculous as all crap. Like, I did not expect Clinks to be able to solo kill people without an Orchids. And this just goes to show you that Clinks is still pretty strong, and you can just play him in different mindsets. And if you play him in the right mindset, you can actually get a bunch of kills off on him. Speaking of a bunch of kills, we got Weaver. Okay, I thought he was gonna be going down, but looks like he will not be going down this fight. Just gonna go and casually back away because that's what he does. You know, casually, very casually, with his Sakuchi. He loves playing with his... Okay, let's not finish that sentence. Alright, moving back onto the game. Weaver's still working on MKB though, that's what it looks like. And Faceless Void has the Vladimir's offering... Sorry, has the Geometry Sight Blink Dagger Vladimir's offering, so he's ready to jump into the fight. And Ags is at the ready. His Ags is ready to go. He's ready to get some kills. And he has to BKB too, so all this gold. Don't know where the heck it's coming from, but it's coming from somewhere. Alright, so continuing on with everything else, we got the tower gonna be going down. PoE player, he actually gets hooked up, he actually might be going down. Here's gonna be the first death if he does die. BKB getting popped up, his team is right behind his back. He's actually just wailing out the damage. Death Prophet doesn't even stand a chance, down so low. Beautiful Chronosphere from Faceless Void, catches everywhere. Omninet ulti gonna be able to help out with the physical damage. Faceless Void dropping an ability, just to make sure they don't get that much damage. These guys are gonna be staying alive. EMP coming out from the Invoker, and they can't really do much. Like, they just kinda mitigated the losses, or minimized as much losses as possible. But still, they lost the Pudge, and that was a huge fight considering the fact that Omni uses ulti, and they could have still won that fight on LonelyBoyz side. But they did a very smart thing, just backed up. You don't necessarily want to give up. Don't really necessarily want to give up your whole entire team's lineup, and definitely give up the gold lead for all that for all the glory of killing more people, right? Some people get that tunnel vision. Speaking of tunnel vision though, Windrunner, she has 4k gold left. She's working on the BKB by the looks of it. Yeah, BKB fully finished up, so she will have that. MKB finally finished up by KY, so his damage output is finally online. He can actually do stuff with his life. The other one starts with O. Octarine Core. Octarine Core fully finished up on Death Prophet. So she's able to drop the ghost, get some damage going around, just, you know, swirl around, just get a little more damage, be a little more survivable. And all things considered, I guess TBG are wanting the sustained team fight. Like, they want a longer team fight. If they can have a really long team fight, then they can win. But Lonely, on the other hand, they really want to kind of, just jump in, then jump out. Like, let Lich drop his ult, let Face Void drop a Chrono, let Witch Doctor drop his ult, and then run away. That's kind of their entire lineup. It's really been counterintuitive because TBG have not been able to get the fight that they want. I mentioned it before that Death Prophet has popped your ulti maybe 12, 13 times this whole entire game, and I've only seen it like 2 times, because every single time she drops her ulti, the whole entire LonelyBoyz squad either is, maybe 2 or 3 supports are dead, or they're all just running away because they don't want to fight that fight. So TBG have not been able to get the favorable engagement for him. And Pudge's hooks, I mean, he's not really being active on the hooks, not really a primary farmer on the Pudge. So that means that he's not really the one looking to get the pickoffs, but he kind of needs to play the role of Batrider in this specific lineup, because if you have Lonely just walking around just blowing you up every single time and then running away, then you're not going to get the fights that you want. And TBG are damned if they do, damned if they don't. I mean, because if they do get the pickoffs they want, they're probably going to pull someone like a Windrunner who still has Focus Fire on Pudge, and Pudge might die. So we saw stuff like that happen. And then on top of that, the counter initiation power from LonelyBoyz is really annoying. The Shackle Shot from Windrunner can turn a fight in like a split second. Face Void can catch a Chrono on top of 2 people and still win the fight. Witch Doctor can just get his ulti off by himself. He has a Glimmer Cape available, so Witch Doctor can get an ulti off by himself with his Aghanim Scepter that he now has, and that will just wreck the entire TBG squad unless Omni has his ulti available. So it's kind of flip turned itself on top of his head, and actually Windrunner doing some damage. There we go. It kind of flip turned itself on top of his head, because during the draft I mentioned that LonelyBoyz are really execution based. Face Void needs to get the Chrono Spear, and then Witch Doctor ulti, and then Lich ulti, and blah, they win the fight. That's kind of what I said the entire draft, and I still believe that. I still believe that's one of their ways to win. But LonelyBoyz have, like I said, had the Clinks there. He's been the X factor that they needed, and we saw a triple kill with Clinks all by himself, and it's a Clinks. Like, you don't expect stuff like that to happen all the time. And he actually has. Oh man, that value though. Clinks has double Diffusal Blade, boys. You know what that means? That means that he can purge 12. Wait, that's not 12. That's 11. He can do 11 purges. Hell yeah. Why sell your Diffusal Blade? Why not just buy another Diffusal Blade? Because he has no use for lifesteal or anything. Anywho, so more agility for Clinks, more damage overall. This is getting pretty darn ridiculous. This is actually, I don't know if this is going to be a standard strat. Like, is Clinks the new Ember Spirit where you stack items? Like, get 5 Desos or something, or get 5 Battle Furies on Clinks or something. It's pretty ridiculous. And one other thing I want to mention too, when I was talking about the execution-based team fights, I mean, it's really peculiar that Lonely have the Windrunner and also have the Clinks, who are 2 people who focus single targets a lot. But it's enough to make TBG struggle, because, I mean, they really want their Invoker to do stuff, and they really want their Weaver to do stuff, but Lonely have answers to both of them. And if all things considered, Pudge has really been a non-factor this entire game. That's kind of why I mentioned the fact that he really needs to play something like a Batrider role, where he can get those pickoffs. Like, if he can get a pull on top of Lich and kill him, then that'll be great. But I think Lich is the only person that'll be valuable, and actually no, Lich or Witch Doctor. If he pulls a Faceless Void, then Faceless Void is going to Chrono and kill him. If he pulls a Windrunner, she's going to Windrun and run away. If he pulls the Clinks, then they better have some more HP, because otherwise he's going to turn around and just fight like a man. So, yeah, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mentioned that before, and TBG have a lineup that on paper looks better than Lonely's lineup, but Lonely have just been playing their lineup. Like, I guess you can say to a certain extent, TBG have been getting slightly outplayed, because this This Klinks has been so active, so impactful. 17 kills he's been involved in, and his team has 22 of them total. So like he's been involved in all but, was that 4 or 5? Is that 5? No, that's 9. Oh, man, I can't do math that fast. 6. Yeah, math is hard. Oh yeah, sorry. Oh yeah, thank you for calling me that one. Yeah, Aegis down at that timing, and Roshan will be up. So we gotta watch out for Klinks. Klinks does have the Aegis for not too much more time. I think that's what it said. So yeah, if they can get a team fight for that, then that'll be great. Look at the timer real fast. Oh no, yeah, sorry, they just got the Aegis. My bad. Sorry, math is backwards. I did my math backwards. Sorry about that. My bad. Lovely statsman. Lovely statsman. I'm sorry. But yeah, so Klinks has the Aegis for quite a while, and look at all those TP scrolls. Jesus, got TP scrolls for days. TP scroll, magic wand. Holy crap. But yeah, taking a grand look at the items because, like I said, I missed the double diffusal build. Like, I did not expect that at all. I did not expect that whole entire thing. That was pretty darn ridiculous. Moving over to the rest of the team's items, let's make sure we see no more surprises. Nothing. Okay, we have cheese on Windrunner. I guess is another thing. So that's the third Roshan. A mechanism for Lich. He's working on a 4-staff or Agonum Scepter. Probably a 4-staff though. And Weaver, not really much impressive as far as items go. Yeah, nothing really to talk about. I mean, Omni has the Soul Ring. I don't know if he's had that for the entire game or if he just got that. But kudos to him for getting some farm. Also, kudos to the vision on the map for the Dire. They have some really aggressive wards and some really nice spots. Fake GG. Oh lord, fake GG report please. And yeah, so we got more DCs coming from Klinks, but I mean for all his worth, they really need Klinks in this game for Lonely side, because like I said, Klinks has been the factor keeping them in the game, or actually, he's been the commanding factor in the game. He's kind of like a bat rider with damage. He shows up, does damage, and then runs away. That's kind of what he does. And Weaver, KY split pushing ability has not been as on point as I give Weaver credit for. Like I just want to be completely honest about that. When it comes down to Weaver, you kind of expect him to be all by himself, doing some tower damage, get a deso, just blow up a tower, and then run away. But at the end of the day, if Weaver can't get in there and just run away, get those towers and run away without fearing the fact that Klinks is right behind his back, like breathing down his neck, then KY can't really do much. All he can do is just team fight with his team. And Weaver's team fight presence, I mean, sure, it's great if everybody's focusing on somebody else and Weaver can, kill some people. But when it comes down to it, Weaver can't really be involved in team fights as much as he wants, because if he gets caught in a chrono, he's dead. If he gets shackled, he's absolutely dead. If he gets spotted by Klinks at this point, he's pretty much dead. So Weaver having a hell of a game right now. I really don't know what the solution is. I gotta be completely honest with you. I really don't know what the solution is for Weaver as far as running around and doing stuff. Now on the other side of Lonely, I mean, Klinks has been a huge factor. I said that before. He's basically keeping Weaver in check just by basically not being on the map. He's also blowing people up. We saw him just go 3v1, just blow people up. And you also have the fact that Windrunner is still a carry too. Like, her damage output is nothing to bat an eyebrow out, unless it's a very stylish eyebrow. In that case, bat as many eyebrows as you want, because that's a very stylish eyebrow. Like, I would bat the hell out of that eyebrow. JK. But in all seriousness though, their secondary carry in the Windrunner is actually just as good as their primary carry in the Klinks. So that means if Klinks does finally die, yeah, sure, we lost a lot of gold, but Windrunner's still alive. Let's go push a tower anyway. So they have two people who can rip down towers pretty darn easily, and Windrunner's only going to get stronger from this point. Like it's kind of like Klinks was there to create space so Windrunner could farm more. And speaking of Klinks, he actually DCs again, so more hamster modem. So, what other things are they developing? I guess we can go ahead and talk about the Faceless Void. So, one thing that's happened in the last patch is that Faceless Void has shifted in meta. Basically, he used to be like the super, oh, I'm a carry, I'm gonna farm 7,000 attack speed and kill you in the chronosphere. He's really changed a lot. Like, I don't think a lot of people have been adjusting to that, and it makes me sad, because I think Faceless Void offlane works really well, and like we saw in this game, where Faceless Void has super huge, gigantic chunks of sustainability, because Time Walk is OP, heals pretty much everything he felt in 2 seconds. Or everything he felt for over the course of 2 seconds. Basically a mini Weaver ult every 6 seconds. That's pretty darn ridiculous. Also on top of that, if you can get a blink, if you can get a lineup like what Lonely has right now, like I think this is the marquee lineup. This is the what's not the right word? This is the perfect lineup for Faceless Void because he can just blink in, drop chrono, and has no fear about anything. Speaking of having fear about anything, Pudge gonna drop his ulti on top of some creeps and back away. I think Lonely should know that nothing crazy is going on because they do have the Aegis still, so no Roche. And push straight down top. Looks like that's what it's going to be. Clink's heading in the front. And oh, the DCs! Are you kidding me? They're going to unpause. So somebody better get the control on Clink's. I mean, I'm just going to say, somebody better control Clink's because he's kind of important. Anywho, we see some more damage coming through the top. They're going to try to go through. And I don't know if they're going to pause so they can share control. Nope. Okay, they're not going to pause. Alright. Whatevs. Whatevs. I'm gonna see you going. Death Prophet has Octarine Core, so just infinite cryptic swarms, like 3.75 seconds. That's ridiculous. This sounds ridiculous. And TP coming up top. Winner just gonna go and defend the tower. And the whole entire crew will on Lonely side will back away. Clinks is still DC'd, so they do want to make sure that he can actually be safe. And if they can get PoE player back, I mean that would be pretty useful. So we'll see how they fare without their Clinks in this game, because they can't pause that much more time or that many more times. We got an Octarine Core fully finished up on top of the Invoker. He also has a Geometry Sight, so if he can get himself a kill or two, that would be fantastic. Weaver hasn't really progressed since he got himself MKB. Like his item progression's been sitting pretty trashy right now. Although granted, we've had like what 10 minutes worth of pause, so I guess not much time has passed since the last time I talked about that, right? Anywho. Circles drawn on the map. We see teams pushing. Faceless Void going to be leading the charge. Come on, rotations. There was a smoke getting used by the Radiant side, so they did smoke up. But it looks like they didn't find anything at all. So they're all going to go ahead and respectively back away. Weaver going to hang out in the trees because that's what he does. If Faceless Void finds him, that would be awesome. But looks like he won't. And now Omninet. Oh, Omninet, he might be getting scouted. Yes, he will be getting scouted out. Faceless Void finds him. Faceless Void has a Chrono available. They can actually drop the Chrono if we want to, but they should have the damage necessary. And Chrono does come out. It does hit the Omninet. Omninet will be going down. So that's really gonna be it. I mean, a Chronosphere for an Omni. It's just a kill for a kill. It's only 6-second cooldown, so whatever. It happens. But wow, really, Omninight's death counter right now is only 40 seconds. That's pretty ridiculous too. So anywho, Omniknight is is gonna be alive by the time they actually push into the base. So he has the whole entire 24 seconds. So Lonely can just go ahead and make your mark while you can, because this just might be the last team fight. And I'm still surprised how PoE player with like as Toaster Net as he's been having so far has not died yet. Has Aegis even, just to make it worse. Somebody's controlling him. I think one of the supports are controlling him. And then Radius Courier comes back up. EMP Tornado coming through. Clink's gonna be saved for it. And now Clink's nobody. Okay, they just all take their respective damage and stand there for a few seconds, and now they'll be able to go in. Raxus will be getting threatened here very soon. If they can get a nice punch hook, that might be nice. If PoE player does get hooked off, it will be the most awkward of moments. They're gonna go ahead and send Clinks in, has the Aegis available, gonna go and drop the ulti, trying to do as much damage as possible. Tornado coming through, getting rid of those abilities. And now punch hook to follow up immediately. The Aegis not gonna be reclaimed here too soon. Looks like PoE player gonna be able to keep himself alive. They need him to die right now. He does officially go down. BKB can pop up Faceless Void. Damage coming from Witch Dogs. He's gonna be able to bounce all on top of Mafia Cheese. The damage is there. They will be able to get the kills. Who needs Clinks when you have this kind of team? It looks like the Aegis was gonna expire anytime soon anyway. Looks like Aegis. Raxus will be getting punched in the face. More people dying around the backside because they're fountain diving, because why not? That's what we do. Death Prophet immediately buying back, has no ulti available, so she needs to be very careful, but they're going to go for the victory while they can. Buybacks galore. Omniknight shows up, ulti's available, Invoker Tornado coming through. They're going to drop the hooker from Pudge. Beautiful ability coming from Faceless Void, going to be able to stop and slow down everybody. Clink's actually might be getting picked off here very soon. You do not want him to die. It looks like he will be able to get out of there. The team able to keep him alive. Team Team Dota, that's what we call that. But Invoker, he is still hit up with that ability. Not going to be able to find the kill on top of that person, but he might be able to find the kill on top of the Witch Doctor. Unfortunately, all his spells are on cooldown. Oh, that's awkward. And Klinks actually makes it alive. I heard Omni dropped the ult.
Say goodbye to Dyer's middle barracks.
Okay, looks like Omni dropped the ult just to make sure Windrunner couldn't get the kill. And speaking of which, Windrunner's going to be out around the corner. She will be getting cut off. Yeah, she's going to die. It's going to be a German... no. Okay. Alright, she still has her ulti though, so she can still go for right click. Gonna be able to get the kill on top of Invoker. Actually, no, Invoker gonna be able to tornado himself up. Will it be enough time? Looks like the power shot's not gonna be enough. Needs more right click. Actually, she gets a crit. Oh my gosh, you kidding me? 512 damage crit on the last hit is all she needed. She got the kill anyway. That is crit Dota. I don't know what to tell you guys. Critical gaming. Anywho, so one set of racks is gone, finally for TBG, or sorry, finally for Lonely, so they actually got some ground going, but they did lose 2 Raxes, essentially. I think the Weaver's in the background just doing some work on their Raxes, so yeah, and Klinks is finally reconnected, so we'll see some cool stuff happening around the corner. Alright, so moving on through the game, I'm still like I don't know what to think about the double defusal. Like, is this legit? Like is this leggy? Is this a thing? This is hilarious, but it's working. I mean, hell, that's more agility. I guess it's the best agility item you can get outside of a butterfly, right? The best utility agility item that you can get out of a butterfly, I guess. He doesn't need evasion. Ooh, actually, I wonder, does evasion dodge the exorcism? That would be nice to know. I would love to know that. Smoking the Seeds, good lord, getting pawned up. I think Death Prophet is working on either Shivas, which I don't think will be that useful. Actually, no. Excuse me. In this specific game, Shivas will be useful. I was gonna say she might be working on a Lotus Orb, but there's not that many things to reflect. I mean, you can reflect Lich ult. That's a really big ult to reflect, but that's about it. Yeah, we're just gonna see both sides just kind of play the war of attrition, see what happens, see who goes where, what goes what. Klinks, Sheep Stick available, so he can actually get a solo kill on top of anybody. Now we got Faceless Void. He's not gonna drop the ulti, but he's gonna drop some damage on top of Omni. Actually, no, he does commit the ulti. Klinks reveals himself, unfortunately. Now it looks like Weaver will be able to walk out of this one alive. And Klinks doesn't have any abilities to pop the Linkosphere, so he cannot do this by himself anyway. So they're gonna go ahead and back away. You know, Weaver gonna hang out with this team. No boosted travel just yet, but MKB plus a nice little Demon Edge. So I think we might be seeing Rapier Dota, boys. Rapier Dota would be pretty darn amazing. So Klinks saving up quite a bit of gold. Come on, Klinks. Or not Klinks. Weaver saving up quite a bit of gold. Come on, Weaver. You know you want to get a Rapier. Just go ahead and blow up Klinks. I mean, he hasn't even died yet. He's just taunting you with his life. Look at him. Look at him. Just standing there menacingly. That awkward moment when you stand in the spawn box of the creeps. Alright, but yeah, Klinks has a Sheep Stick available, so that's really nice. And Ether Blade gets 40 agility, Butterfly gets 30, Diffusal gets 25, 35. Okay, so Diffusal is a close second, I guess. A close second once you have Diffusal level 2, but it's still really expensive, so probably not worth the value that you pay for it. But a double Diffusal, I guess, is really nice because that's what, 70 agility, and it gives you more actives. Speaking of more actives, we got ourselves a Weaver in a lot of trouble. He might be going down here, but we got fights happening on the backside. Pudge actually goes down to the Klinks, and Klinks just being a man right now. Speaking of being a man right now, double kill going for the Klinks. Has a double kill going his way. Towers, Raxes, they might be getting claimed, but the creeps are pushed up in the wrong direction right now. If they do want to try to go for some backdoor action, they can go for it, but Klinks might be getting picked off for his troubles. So it looks like they will back away. They will go defend. I think at this point you might need to get yourself a Mjolnir for the Windrunner. And Klinks still hunting in the jungle. Might be able to find a wild Omni Knight. I don't know about you, but I would love to see some Omni tonight. Like, cause you know, Omni Theater, no, nobody? Okay. But Klinks has the Purge available, he also has the damage, so he's actually going to just go for the right click. Sheep Stick actually getting used in 3-4 right clicks is all it took, and Omni Knight immediately getting blown up. Mid tower push can come through. Omni Knight has no buyback available for 2 minutes time, and I think they need to push in GG. They're trying to push out all the lanes. Faceless Void's in the wrong lane right now. I don't know if he has boosted travel. Okay, he does have boosted travel, doesn't have friendly boosted travel, but he can still TP into this fight. So this will be the last stand coming out for TBG. If they don't win this, I think this just might be it. One set of Raxes will be going down. Clink's gonna go and pop that ulti. No Fortify is available for TBG. And I don't know if TBG are tapping out of this one. They're still trying to fight. Then no Fortify getting used makes it a little bit shocking. But they're going to go for a ring around the Raxes. Nice Chronosphere coming up from Face of Void. BKB getting popped as well. Death Prophet can't really do anything. Just drops his Tornado Stick. That's really about it. Gemini Suicide does get dropped by whoever that was. Invoker coming back into the fight. Lich ulti doing so much work right now. Holy crap. That's a Lich ulti with an or without an Aghanim Scepter. That's just raw Lich ulti. Meanwhile, we got Invoker showing up. He has an Aghanim Scepter. He's going to be a baller. This is going to be a Wish Doctor dying. His worst of lives. And Clink's gonna be a runaway, taking some right-click damage around the backside. Don't let him die! No! That's a Windrunner. Okay. Alright, I thought Clink's died for a second, guys. I was about to say, no, my fantasy points. But yeah, Clink's is gonna be way in the other direction. But Mega Creeps are available for TBG. It looks like Lonely have done the damage. Mega Creeps are going to be going in their favor, so all lanes will be pushing in their favor at almost all times. We'll see if TBG can just push it up the middle and go for Throne. They do have an okay team for going for Throne. Not as good as Lonely because they do have the Windrunner and the Clinks. So if they do get backdoored, then it will be pretty epic to watch. I don't know if this is going to happen though. Windrunner has buyback available, might be forced to use it. Face of Void, he has buyback available, and so does Clinks. And speaking of Clinks, he actually doesn't really have room for anything else but boosted travel. So we'll probably see some boosted travel come out from him here very soon. Meanwhile, Pudge is working towards what looks to be an Aghanim Scepter or a BKB, probably an Aghanim Scepter. Invoker don't really have room for much else, and a Rapier did get purchased out by the Weaver, so they are gonna go all in. Yeah, just Weaver, he's ready to do this. Just right click. Look at that damage. Look at that damage. Desolate Appearance did get used, almost caught the Clinks off guard. Actually, did catch the Clinks off guard, so he did back away. And Weaver trying to get as much damage as possible. And Alacrity getting used. Oh, the Chrono! No, Weavers will be going down. The damage will not be there. The Rapier's dropped on the ground. If this gets picked up by Clinks, this would be a horrible idea. It looks like, no, they give it to Windrunner instead. A much better choice. And I think that just might have been it. The game is officially over. Okay, the game's not over yet. Let me not be pretentious here. The game basically is potentially over because Windrunner has a Rapier. And just like, if she gets a crit, oh man, it's going to be so bad. If all rooms, Death Prophet gets a haste rune. Nice, slow sheep. She's the fastest pick in the world. The bash, though, it looks like they pulled the Face of Void the wrong direction. Will Death Prophet be able to get bashed again? Looks like no Tornado Stick coming through. This is like the wildest game. These guys are basically playing Overthrow right now at this point. Come on, come on. But they're all going to be able to run around. Clinks has the damage necessary, so he has a sheep, so he drops the Purge. And looks like Pudge's going to be able to keep his Death Prophet alive for a few more seconds. She does get healed up as well. Omnia has his ulti available. EMP Blast is going to come through. This will be a wild Face of Void with no mana. BKB getting popped. No mana for his ulti though, so he needs to be very careful about that. But meanwhile, all the creeps are pushing in every single lane. Just like, it's everywhere. Oh god, who made this mess? That's basically what they're saying right now. Death Prophet forced to drop the ulti so she can try and get as much damage as possible. The Ghost is going to be attacking what they can. BKB getting popped by the whoever that was, and Lich has ulti available, but it doesn't really matter. Lich will be going down here in a few seconds. Big team fight breaking on the Ancient. I think it's pretty much going to be it. 2 people dead for the Dire Squad. Clink's still alive, so just going to focus down the Rax, or sorry, focus down the Ancient. Objective Gaming Boys is what he's saying right now. PoE player will be able to end this game with no deaths to his name. GG, well played indeed. That is pretty uncanny to see that both sides managed to have a teammate with, or happen to have a carry with no deaths. Like, that's impressive. So I say grudge match. You guys may not say grudge match, but I say grudge match. And this is going to be yet another 1-to-1 series. So just to give a quick overview of the history, TBG and Lonely have played 3 different times. This is their 4th time playing. And all 3 different times, or 2 of those times, it was 1-1. And the first time they played, TBG dropped 2 games straight. So Lonely won 2 in a row. So yeah, grudge matches continue. TBG still have more to prove. TBG have to win their 2 games in a row, and looks like they almost had it. They almost had it, but it fell out of their hands. Anyway, enough post-game analysis. My name is CulBlu. I was joined here by the awesome Tantus, my stats man. So thank you very much for joining me. If you guys want to check out more of our stuff, you can go check me out on my Twitter, which is at CulBlu. So go check that out. It's really fun. You can also check me out on my YouTube, which is youtube.com/CulBluDota. That's CulBluDota. And of course my Twitch, which is twitch.tv/CulBlu. That's CulBlou. And also you can check out Tantus at his links, which I will post in the description, because I can't think of what those links are. So I'll give him like a few more seconds to post those if he's listening. Hopefully he does. But yeah, definitely go check us out. We are casters for the JDL right now. We're just having a lot of fun doing things. And thank you guys very much for watching. This has been a fun series of games. So that's going to be it for this cast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I will see you guys whenever.